But I'm ready whenever you are to talk about TJ Hockenson. And you can talk about T. Higgins.
I'm going to do my best to make this about Hockenson and not about Higgins. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the DLF Trade Show. I am your host, Russ Fisher at Dynasty Outhouse. This is my brother from another mother, Addison Hayes at Amaze Hayes _. I don't really like my real brother, so I feel like if me getting you something wrong about you makes sense a little bit, right? So now we have something to argue about. Sibling rivalries, that's the way it's supposed to go. We are here, and we're going to talk about trades because that's what you talk about on the DLF Trade Show. I don't really know how else to do it. But here is what we're going to do. We've been going on like these little 2-episode mini-series of our mini-series. This time we're talking about tight ends again. We did Kittle, I think it was, last week. And we are doing TJ Hockenson this week. And the reason I made the joke about, Addison being my brother from another mother is because I think this is the 3rd or 4th player in a row where we're like, I think we should do this kind of player, and then we both say the exact same person. We both said Hurts, we both said Hockenson, like every Justin Jefferson from the beginning. Like we've always come up with the same players. But the way this show works, just as your weekly reminder, Addison and I come up with a player. He goes into the DLF Trade Finder, finds a good trade centered around that one player, so we can kind of gauge a little bit of value. Addison will walk you through the teams that were involved in this trade because the Trade Finder lets you do that. It gives you the context you need. We talk about how we feel about the trade in accordance with the teams that did the trade, and then we go to the DLF Trade Analyzer, look at the actual numbers that DLF feels about that trade. Then we talk about how we feel about the values in the analyzer, wrap it up in a neat little bow. Let's just jump right into this trade. And let me tell you why, going back to the sibling rivalry thing, when we talk about the other side of this trade, what Addison just did to me. All right. The league, nice and simple. 12-team, 1 QB. Neither a trade addicts nor a safe leagues. So there you go. We are branching out. We are spreading our wings to the other types of leagues out there. So, hey, if you're on myfantasyleague.com, go make some trades, and there's a chance we talk about it here. Oh, and he just put in there the trade was made on April 5th. Team A traded away TJ Hockenson, the 202 and the 302 for my boy T. Higgins. And we come in talking about TJ Hockenson, and then he throws T. Higgins, the one side of the other deal. I'm like, I thought we were supposed to talk about TJ because I'm going to be talking about T the entire show, but I'm going to try and stick to the point, on the point, but more to the point of what we're supposed to do next in the show. Addison, walk us through the 2 teams that made the trade.
Sure, yeah. So Team A here, we'll just get right into it. Team A, the team that gave up TJ Hockenson and the 2 picks, they came in 11th place last year after going 3-10. Not really a really good showing, but from what I gathered from their team is that I don't know if this was a new team, that's like a new league that started and drafted last year, or if this team just went complete rebuild and really went all in on 2020. I just
looked at their wide receivers and I got the vapors. Like, oh man.
Yeah. So this team either completely productive struggled or, like I said, just went all in on 2020. So
it worked.
Their quarterbacks are Matthew Stafford and Tua Tagovailoa. Their running backs are Antonio Gibson, AJ Dillon, and Zach Moss, and a couple other no-names. Wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, Chase Claypool, and then Antonio Brown. I had to throw him in there just as another guy to name. And then they also have a tight end, Cole Kmet, Harrison Bryant, and Adam Troutman. And because they came in 11th place last year out of a 12-team league, they also own the 1.02 in their rookie draft in, a week and a half or whatever. So ultimately, I think, they went all in on 2020. It worked, like you said. This team is ready to go with just a couple more pieces, and I think the 102 could really add that extra piece for them. So then Team B, the team that got TJ Hockenson, they traded away T. Higgins. They finished in 3rd place last year after going 10-3. Lost in the semis, won the consolation. And I was looking at their team, and my note for this is they're probably going to win in 2021. They're probably.
I hope they're listening to this right now. I really do, because that's just a fantastic note to put on a team.
Yeah, if this is your team in your league and you did this like 3 weeks ago, leave a comment down below and let us know, because I think you're gonna win. But anyway, their quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson, Matt Ryan, and Derek Carr. Even in a one quarterback league, that's fantastic. Their running backs are Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Miles Sanders, and Devin Singletary as a depth piece. Wide receivers, this is all their wide receivers. DeMarcus Robinson was another one, but this is all of their other wide receivers.
Wow.
Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, A.J. Brown, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown, Michael Pittman, N'Keal Harry.
He's going to be a thing.
Cole Hardman.
Yeah. Oh man, 2 teams. Like I want mush these into one team, and I want this. Like I love all of these wide receivers so much. But keep going. Sorry.
And then at tight end they have George Kittle, now T.J. Hockenson, Hunter Henry, and Chris Herndon. So,
okay, so let's go back to the trade itself. I'm gonna I'll say it out loud again, just because it's been a while. T.J. Hockenson, the 202, the 302 for T. Higgins. Now, okay. How I feel about this, I think I've made it a little obvious how I'm going to feel about this. This is the T. Higgins side pretty easily for me. Now, if it didn't have anything listed, is there any sort of tight end premium? Did you look at the scoring?
I did not. I can pull that up real quick.
All right, so I'm going to talk while you look, because I have to be honest. I don't think I care. Like, if it was a 2 tight end league where you're forced to start
1.5.
Technically, yes, but overall, not really. It's just this is so easily T. Higgins, because at least forget what you think of T. Higgins himself. The way at least I play is you have to is a strong word. You really should consider the consensus value of players. Like, if I'm trying to trade away T. Higgins because I think I'm competing in a 1 QB league, I don't think the 2 or 2 or 3 or 2 literally get me anything. And I think there's a sizable difference between Hockenson and T. Higgins with only 1.5. If we were talking 2 tight end or 2 points per reception for tight ends, it would get closer, but I still think T. Higgins is the real deal with Joe Burrow. And like I said, the only thing that would make me feel worse about this and make me hate the NFL draft altogether is if the Bengals freaking draft Jamar Chase. I cannot... Every time I see a mock draft that has the Bengals taking Jamar Chase, I cry a little on the inside, because I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get how awesome it would be to have Burrow and Chase back together again. Oh no, we have 2 freaking phenomenal wide receivers on our team. But man, they have so many other problems that it's just such a luxury pick that it doesn't make sense. Like, I would be fine if they drafted Kyle Pitts, because that even makes more sense. Burrow seemed to like that's not where we're here. He liked the tight end, but that's not what we're here to complain about. I will complain for the next 30 minutes, and this isn't a 30-minute show. Breathe. Good. Okay. Let's make this specific. Okay, I've already said that I think the value is easily on the T. Higgins side, but now trade specific. I understand the thought process of there's a tight end premium. Let me just layer on those tight ends. The problem is I don't think it's enough of a premium, and with just a 12-team league, I don't think Hockenson adds that much of a positional advantage. I think the only way you get positional advantage with tight ends is with those top 3 guys that are going to finish as a top 5 tight end easily. And, taking injuries out, because clearly Kittle missed a bunch of games and stuff like that. But still, and honestly, he may have even finished as a top 5 tight end, because tight ends don't score a lot of points, but I don't remember, and I'm not going to go look. So I love this move for the productive struggle team, for that rebuilding team, or whatever they are doing, because getting T. Higgins is adding yet Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins as your core wide receiver. Chase, I missed when you said Chase Claypool last time. Like, oh man, the wide receiver, like you will never need to do anything at the wide receiver position, and you'll be fine for the next very long time. So I love this trade for them. I don't get the other side. Hockenson is a very good player. What we're not taking into account, that I don't see enough people saying, Jared Goff doesn't really throw to the tight end, assuming he's their starter. I mean, and even if new system, new quarterback, it's going to be a little weird. I get that there aren't a lot of targets, a lot of players that will demand targets in Detroit, Those were the right words.
As of right now, he's the top target. But it's probably expected that they add somebody, right?
Look,
like
I'm telling you, it is Terrell Williams and Quintus Cephas season. That's all I'm saying. There you go. Outhouse predicts. Mostly because I have so many shares of both of them.
The parent hate. It's just...
Yeah, it's pretty deep. I have a few friends that are Ravens fans and they're angry at him. Well, it's not his fault. Again, tangent. So yes, I'm going to stick. I don't see the other side. If you're a Hockenson fan, you went and got your guy, good for you. But from a value standpoint and from a directional standpoint, I think your team was better off having Higgins, especially in a 1 QB, what you'll get at the 202, or what you can use that pick's value to either move up in the draft or upgrade somewhere else. I don't think that is enough to make me want to get rid of T. Higgins. How do you feel, Addison?
So I was looking at the scoring sheet from this league, and TJ Hockenson last year actually outscored T. Higgins by 7.2 total points on the year. But he averaged 13.4 points per game, and Higgins averaged 13. So unless you're projecting like a major bump up for T. Higgins, which is possible, he could obviously grow and be more productive. But I think you could make the same case for TJ Hockenson, who's entering year 3 as potentially the top target or the second target again for the Detroit Lions. With Jared Goff, I think is still a solid quarterback. He managed to keep Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods both fantasy viable as wide receiver 2s at the same time. Even had some upside for Higbee and the running backs as well too. So I think that he, from a fantasy standpoint, is a solid quarterback for Hockenson to have. Downgrade from Stafford, but still solid. So overall, I think that Higgins and Hockenson in a 1.5 tight end PPR premium is kind of washy, at least scoring wise from a fantasy standpoint. And they're both super young as well too. You're not doing anything with age and everything. So adding the 202 and 302, even in a one quarterback, I think still kind of puts it over the edge for me a super tiny bit for the TJ Hockenson side. And I'm also putting in, when you look at their teams, the team that traded away T. Higgins also has Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, AJ Brown, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown, and Michael Pittman. So where does T. Higgins slide in? I was also looking at, how many players that they actually start. This is a 1, 2, 3, 1, and 3 flex. So 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 2 flexes. So they start 9 players total. So if you're looking at this team's starting roster, the roster is Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know if you're starting Miles Sanders or not, because you got Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, AJ Brown, Chris Godwin as your 4 wide receivers every week, and then George Kittle. I don't even know if this guy's starting Hawk, to be honest with you. So from that standpoint, the move is questionable to me. I understood why he moved away from Higgins, because he has an amazing wide receiver depth. I don't know why he went to tight end though, if he already has Kittle, unless he doesn't like Kittle's injury proneness.
The only thing I can think is that you're riding the fact that he's premium, and you think that's going to put him over the edge of other fantasy players that you were going to put in there as your last spot.
Because he is one of those tight ends who benefits from the premium. He's not a Mark Andrews or Noah Fant touchdown guy. He is more of a George Kittle, Darren Waller, Travis Kelce reception tight end. So he benefits more from it. So it's close enough for me, especially, and I understand why that team moved away from T. Higgins.
All right, so instead of me telling you why you're wrong, let's go to the trade analyzer and let the trade analyzer tell you that you're wrong. So the first side with TJ Hockenson, TJ is worth 249 points. Now, again, as of now, they're still working on it. The trade analyzer does not have tight end premium, but I feel like just 1.5, you're not really talking about that much of a premium. What, put 20% on it? This isn't like
bump them up 100 or so points, 150 points.
All right, that's a lot more than 20%, but okay. Even still, put it up 100. Yeah, putting up 100 points makes it a lot closer. So let's pretend he's 349, and then the 202 is 165. The 302 is 59 for a total minus the package adjustment, 399.7. Which, hey man, we'll put those extra 100 points in there. 499.7. T. Higgins by himself, 538.4. So now, I believe I've said it before on this show. When you were trading, especially like a 3-for-1, I feel like your package value needs to weigh more than the other side. So even taking away the package adjustment of that 75 points, adding the 100 points, like that, now you're just sort of barely getting above T. Higgins' value according to the analyzer, which again leads me to believe that I'm just not super much a fan of this trade. Now, you did talk me into liking TJ Hockenson a little bit more, especially in tight end premium leagues. So, most of my leagues are 1.75. I'm probably going to go make some trade offers before you release this. But, I mean, so you have the points what they are, not what we're pretending they are. This is a difference of 138 points, about the difference of the 204. You still can't talk me into not taking the T. Higgins side. Now, again, hashtag team cleanse and big wide receiver. I get it. I am hugely biased on this one. But if we're not talking those top 3 tight ends, it's some mush in the middle. So that's why I'm saying if there was a bigger positional advantage to be gained at tight ends, whether it's 2 tight end or 2 a much higher premium, I would 100% get just doing what you need to do to get that tight end. And if this were Superflex, that 2.02 would be so much better. I mean, 202 in a Superflex, you're talking like Rondale Moore. But 202 in a 1 QB, you're talking Chuba? I mean, like you're pushed down like a 2 tiers?
Yeah.
So like, it's such a weird, different push just because there's so many quarterbacks going in the first round of Superflex rookie drafts. So like, maybe the analyzer is a little low on Hockenson, and again, we need to add a little bit for the tight end premium, but still, I agree that I know we can't change trades that happened already, but let's say the 202, this 204 of a difference, and the 302, if you mashed that up into one asset, and it was TJ and this one other asset that was worth about TJ, that would make it fair for me. I think it's the fact that it's a 3-for-1 and that 302 is going to be a 15% hit rate dart throw.
Very useful. Yeah.
So if you could mush that up into more, I would feel much better about it. But I have nothing that is in front of me is changing me off of this T. Higgins side.
I think this is why we chose TJ Hockenson, and also why I wanted to highlight this trade specifically was because
piss me off. Yeah.
Yes, but also, for the viewers, because Hockenson is currently the tight end 6 in startup ADP. He's actually going behind Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews as the 4 and the 5. Which,
sounds about right.
That all aside, I would rather have TJ Hockenson than both of them. But Hockenson is in that group of the next tier of tight ends, and then it
you want to be the next.
Drops off. So you're either paying the premium to bump up into that tier, or is that what you would rather do? And you would rather just not have one of these tight ends, or like where does Hockenson fall for you in like trying to actually go out and acquire him? Because if this is around about the price that you can go out and get him for, does that make sense for you to do it? Would you rather bump up into the next tier, or would you rather take your shots on John New and Hunter Henry?
So no, with the way you worded it, you made me say yes to TJ Hockenson because that's just what you do. Yes, if I have any sort of premium and I wanted to buy into those, I think TJ is the top of the tier of those quote unquote next guys. There was him and Fant, and honestly, I'd take Hawk over Pitts right now, just because he's there. Yeah. He's been in the league. We've seen it. By all accounts, it should take Pitts a year or two just to get acclimated, like it does for every single tight end. But who's been in the league a year or two? TJ Hockenson. And he's done well for the 2 years he's been in here. And like you said before, Goff has been able to sustain a couple of relevant fantasy assets. And if you mush Higbee and Gerald Everett into like one tight end, like the Rams tight end, because they had separate games of going nuts, whether one was hurt or not, they scored pretty well. So, like I said, you kind of talked me into Hockenson a little bit, but I do in the first, like beyond that, if we had just started talking and you gave me that concept of trading into that tier of the not top three and those next guys, Hockenson would be the guy I'd be aiming for, especially at a value like if we were basing everything on the trade analyzer, because that's cheap, and especially in a tight end premium league where even if you're not getting a lot of points from your tight end, the inherent value of owning a big named tight end in a tight end premium league carries a lot of clout. At any given time, you can trade that guy for a lot. And see, like he got T. Higgins, and to me, that's huge. So I was trying to wrap it up, and there was a way I couldn't really figure out how to do it. So I'm just going to say, in this terms, yes, I agree with you that if I was saying to myself, I'm going to trade for a tight end, and I'm not trading away T. Higgins, so let's just take that off the table. But I have a mid wide receiver too. Let's go to his teammate like Tyler Boyd, who I'm sure doesn't necessarily wash out, but like a wide receiver like that, who Jarvis Landry used to be 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I have this extra wide receiver on my team. I'm going to go swap him for a tight end. I would aim for Hockenson, because you're right. I think he is in that realm where in 2 years where, oh man, Kelsey's going to be like 33 and officially on NFL AARP, then...
And Darren Waller too. He's like 29 right now.
He's 28 or 29. Yeah. So he's
he'll be over the 30 threshold, so he'll be dead.
Exactly. So so Hockenson I think is going to be the guy we want to own then. So okay. So I'm not giving in to you the fact that you won me over on this trade, because there's no way you're getting to admit that I should be trading away T. Higgins for Hawk in these picks. But I will say you won me over the fact that I'm going to go start sending offers out for Hawk the second we're done recording.
Yes.
See, again, I hate that you made me admit my brother was right. You're such a jerk. All right, well, on that note that we can't, I don't know what other direction we could take this show. We're going to call it quits right now. Go trade for TJ Hockenson. I think that was the moral of today's story, but this has been another episode of the DLF Trade Show. Russ Fisher, Dynasty Outhouse, Addison Hayes, @AmazeHayes_. Subscribe to the DLF channel. Hit that bell so you get the notification. I know my son watches so much YouTube that I hear those words in my sleep at this point. Give us a subscribe. Hit that bell so you get a notification every time we drop a video. But hey, as long as you watch us, that's all I care about. So see you next time in the DLF Trade Show. Bye, everybody.